Today we are discussing a very important topic, namely whether companies can blacklist you or not. They will put you on their own blacklists, but also on IP database systems that concern all the companies that have purchased this service. The leader is Spamhaus, but there are more than 200 now. So the answer to this question is immediately yes, because with spamhaus.org or any other blacklisting service on the web, they can do it. And unless you change your IP, you will not be able to do anything, VPN or proxy included. Let's talk technical and gigas in a database. The computer connection protocol that manages the transmission of data over the internet is your IP address. This identification number of each device that is connected to a network using the internet protocol. An IP address is a number with a 32-bit value represented by 4 dotted decimal values. Each has a weight of 8 bits, 1 byte. Your IP weighs 4 bytes, so it does not weigh very much in a database that becomes very manageable in a globalization and a sharing of blacklisted IPs. If all the IPs of all internet users were on a database that makes 4 bytes x 5 billion users equals 18.63 gigas. Thus, it is therefore possible for a company to put you on the blacklist of an entire sector but on our entire Earth. But in the world of work in general, it represents only a few gigas. A company wants to do it. It will be able to do it, because if all the companies in the same sector do not use the same database that could provide them with information on a certain candidate. Spamhaus and other blacklisting providers bring together all these common databases that are common to all companies. The worst is now that very large companies are creating their own blacklisting systems. Basically, if you are identified as a spammer once, your IP will be permanently blacklisted, the famous 403 on the company's web pages. So be careful in the way you send your emails. 1. Check your address lists to see if there are any false addresses that are used to demonstrate that you are spamming. 2. Use mass mailing service providers who will be able to send your message. 3. Put your CV on a CV landing page in order to reduce the weight in MB of your message. 4. You should know that above 500 kilobyte you are suspected of spamming, and therefore you are automatically blacklisted, both by the company and your service providers. 5. No one at any point in your career or your job search told you that they would blacklist you from an entire sector. It's obvious, but it's reality. 6. You are blacklisted and the databases cross because companies pay for this service. If someone tells you that it is not possible, it is because this person wants to harm you. What happens to the blacklists and your application, your IP in fact? The company is subscribed to Spamhaus. It is definitive for your IP. You will have to clear yourself and respect the rules. It is obvious that a company can certainly put you on the blacklist of its own company, which will prevent you from applying to the same company in the future. You may not know the exact reason, but you will never get a response to your application. And there are specific situations in which companies do this. It is therefore important to understand what these situations are. Very quickly, we will review all of these. So let's look at the situations that can put you in trouble, because apart from wild spamming, because there are your own decisions or your attitude that can harm you. 1. Number 1 on the list is the offer refusal. Not all offer refusals result in being blacklisted, but there are specific situations in which a candidate breaks the company's trust in one way or another. This includes refusing offers at the last moment. Maybe you were supposed to join the company the next day, and the day before, you tell the company, its HR team, that you will not be able to join the company for whatever reason. This is super negative. 2. Sometimes candidates will give a reason for not joining the company. Using excuses as a way of saying no is very frowned upon. 3. I also want to advise you that if you are in a situation where you have multiple offers, you will obviously choose only one and decline the others. This is completely normal. But decline the offer with a polite email as soon as you know that you will not be joining this company. Number 4, bearing if you receive an email from HR or the consultant asking for more details. Confirm in your first response to the person who is managing this job that you have other opportunities in progress with other companies. 5. Don't wait until the end date to come forward with this message. People are waiting for you to join the company. 6. People are waiting for you to come on board and start this project. So if you don't want to fall into this blacklist category, make sure you decline the offers early to give the company time to turn around and choose another candidate. 7. So the second reason could be that you are found guilty of fraud during your interview process. Maybe you have falsified the information you have shared, CV, diploma, certificates. You should know that companies verify using the biggest private detective agencies. 8. Maybe if it was a phone interview and you let someone else do this interview on your behalf just to be shortlisted. This happens a lot. So if during the interview process or later when writing the offer letter, if the company learns about this, they will immediately blacklist you because it is a classic case of unspoken but real ethical code of conduct. 9. Another very important reason for being blacklisted can be the background check, especially if the criminal checks show a background. Sometimes background check reports show that the criminal check was positive and the person had active cases of domestic violence, financial crimes, or criminal cases. Your own attitude is the other obvious reason to be blacklisted. The problem often comes when someone behaves strangely during the interview process. Someone who seems to have a lot of attitude problems, but in a company, it is a problem for management. The attitude problem is paramount because companies are much more focused on teamwork in these modern times. No matter how smart, genius, or talented an individual is, they are part of a group. The person is likely to become a bad employee as long as they do not know how to be part of the team, how to collaborate, how to be a good colleague to others. The next reason on the list is when someone leaves a company without resigning. The company does not like job abandonment in such cases, obviously. So in such cases also, the same person will not be hired. The next reason on the list is when someone is fired on the basis of violation of the code of conduct or any other policy, which is like a zero-tolerance policy. We have, for example, sexual harassment or any other policy related to the behaviors of the individual in the company towards the colleagues or the hierarchy. Any firing on the basis of such policies will surely result in a list. Now, similar to this, there's another point which is very important, and that is that an employee can also be fired on the basis of his performance. This happens all the time. The first reason is that the employee is not meeting the needs of the company. The second case is that the employee is particularly very good, and so that the competition does not take advantage of it, he is blacklisted on his own blacklist, which is part of the Spam House database. As a result, you are very good in your field, so negotiate your new job without resigning from your current one, but also respect the agreements of your separation with the company. Be careful. If you have a non-competition clause, it is easier to change internet provider to have a new IP. So, if you stay true to yourself, to the company, to the information you provide to the company, you are always safe, unless you are looking for another job. You will have to be very careful with your email sending and especially your contact lists. Clean them up. Remove all professional